podcast. Hope you're well wherever you are in the Hooniverse. It is a Friday evening as we're recording here. Paul, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm very good. Thank you, Jeff. Yes, you're looking rather bouffant and somewhat glowy because of your glowing microphone in front of your face.
I am, yes. And I've been
that,
out in
ladies
the
and
rain
gentlemen.
most of today, and it's played havoc with my hair.
Oh, no.
I'll be honest.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, when Jeff jumped on, before we started recording, he's like, oh, look at my hair. And he's doing stuff to make it look different. But do you know what, mate? It looks the same.
It hasn't really done anything. It's so thick that
this is why I wear a hat.
It doesn't... It doesn't behave, really.
I just can't control it.
No amount of product will save it. So we're back this week to continue looking at Resurrection of the Daleks, part DOS, which is U2 for 2. And we're going to do a countdown from 3 to 2 to 1, and then hit play. So whatever your preferred playback method, go for it. And we've also got a special guest joining us tonight who will be very shortly introduced. So, Paul, are you queued up on your iPlayer?
I am queued up on my iPlayer. Yes, I am watching this on iPlayer, so well done.
That sounds like you
ready to start. Yes, I'm not watching on a DVD or anything. Although I could. Do you know what I found? Actually, I'll just show you this just before we did, right? Just before we kick off, right? I did find my copy of the special edition of Resurrection of the Daleks, right? Which came in this case. See this little slip case here?
Yeah.
Right? But when I was looking for this, I found that there's a DVD already inside it. So I popped it out to have a look at what could this DVD be. Yeah. And it is actually also Resurrection of the Daleks. So I have 2 copies of Resurrection of the Daleks, but one of them is the original first edition of it, and the other one is a special edition. And when the Blu-ray arrives, which it will do imminently, I'm sure, I'll have 3 different copies of Resurrection of the Daleks. Please don't tell my wife. She kicks off if I've got multiple copies of anything. I've just been through my bookshelves and removed a whole bunch of stuff. So that's just my thing. I just will literally buy copies of stuff and then forget that I've even got them. This is terrible.
Yeah, it's not the first time you've had more than one of a thing, is it?
I know. Yeah, exactly. I'm just a harder, Jeff. I'm just a harder. I hard everything. Yeah. Oh well. Right. Okay.
All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Ooh.
Oh, look. There's picture in picture. Don't take it down, YouTube.
Look at Peter Nevison's little face there. It's brilliant, isn't it?
If you're only listening, by the way, over on YouTubby, you can see our ugly mugs, and we have also got a little picture-in-picture of the title sequence, just so you know roughly where we are.
And
I
you
think
can,
I'm
yes, so you can see where we're up to.
Yeah,
because I struggle with finding the button, but
yeah, you don't know how to play it.
Eric Saywood, right? Just in case we do get done by the Thought Police, let's stop the screen share as the episode begins that place, the space station. Oh my goodness me, it's incredible, isn't it? There's the 5th Doctor stepping out, looking all very beige and everything.
Celery refreshed. So, whilst we let that play, we're going to introduce our special guest. Have you got your special guest to hand, Paul?
My special guest. She's right here behind me.
She's right here
with her friend Brian. Who's not looking too good, to be honest.
No, he's a bit splattered there, isn't he?
Yeah. But
so,
hello, it's Tegan.
There's Tegan. So we're a bit late to the party, but thanks to our friend Al and Character Options, we've got a copy of the newly released TEGAN figure.
TEGAN.
Which we're very grateful for, so thank you. So, Paul, you've opened yours up already, so I'm going to...
I have, because I could not wait to get Tegan out of her box, frankly, and Brian the Destroyed Dalek. So, yeah, she's really good, actually. I mean, she's quite animated, isn't she? She's got, like, bendy arms. So she's got that thing going on.
They're posable.
Yeah. Posable. There you go. I don't know if there's a difference. They bend into different poses because of their many joints.
Yes. But before we go into that, look what the inner box imagery is.
I did notice that.
Just as we're seeing on screen. So I must say that I wonder Al was going to join us tonight, but he couldn't in the end, unfortunately. But I wonder whether that's a still from the episode or a special render that they've had done.
It's probably AI, Jeff.
Yeah, in fact, I'll text him in a minute and I'll ask him.
There you go.
Text
Aldu on a Friday night because he's out doing stuff. He can't be with us.
Are you doing AI? So let me get Tegan out. So this is quite excitingly the first...
look at that! Actually, in the warehouse with those strange canisters, they are also included in the Destroyed Dalek and Tegan
they
set.
are.
Look,
yes,
I have one right here. Where's my camera? There you go.
Yeah,
amazing. There's also a gun as well.
Yes.
So if you've got a Fifth Doctor, you can recreate that brilliant scene where he literally points this right at Davros's face.
So this Tegan figure, quite excitingly, is the first Tegan that's been done. Did you know
amazing.
That?
Yeah. That's amazing, isn't it? After all these years.
Yeah, after all these years, I think, and in fact, there she is on screen in the exact outfit that she's wearing here.
Outfit.
Yeah.
Do you know, I used to have a picture on my wall when I was a kid of Tegan in this outfit. It was just a cutout from Doctor Who magazine. They did a page poster. I had many posters from Doctor Who, and Tegan was there wearing that top thing.
Really?
I remember thinking, well, it's about time they got her out of that air hostess. Uniform thing from series 19, season 19.
This top is still very 80s, isn't it? And I love that it's 80s. Been nicely recreated for the figure. And I think I might have seen some conversation somewhere. They had to get the rights to use it or something.
Oh, they probably did. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised actually.
Someone would have obviously created it, but. It's funny, just looking at it now, and you talking about the air hostess thing. It reminds me a bit of like carpet or seat covers that you would get on like trains or airports or something. And
seat covers on trains or airports. Yeah, rendered down Tegan's stylish.
No, I've got a point because it's very 80s looking, and I've been to Portland Airport in Oregon quite a few times over the years, and there's quite a famous carpet design that they used to have there, and you can get it on T-shirts and stuff, and it's very 80s with like squares and dots and random lines and stuff on it. A bit more detailed than this, but that's sort of what it reminded me of a little bit.
Gotcha.
But yes, anyway, like you were saying, this. Very poseable, as they always are, and particularly in the new Vortex range. And I quite like the print because I don't think we'd have had something quite like that, previously. And it's a really good lightness on her as well.
It is actually, yeah. She looks very much like Janet Fielding as Tegan. Yeah.
So it's great. So I think it's been good reception to this, and
the Dalek as well. He's quite fun.
Yeah. I was just going to bring him out. So
he's got brain in there. Look at that. There's a brain thing. Dalek mutant destroyed, which we saw in episode 1 of this very story, didn't we?
Yes.
That vicious rattling is just struggling with the plastic in the packet. So I do apologise to those of you whose eardrums were offended by this unexpected noise.
Yes.
I love the way in this story that Stein is suddenly like very composed and very deadly. Like his whole body changes. There you go. Look at that. Yeah.
There it is.
Very good.
So it's not a brain, is it? It's just a Dalek.
It's just a Dalek. Yeah. Dead Dalek. Dead.
But I like the detail here. It's quite gross. I wonder if that was sort of screen accurate or if it's been slightly embellished for the.
I think it probably has been slightly embellished. I don't think we see it from that.
No, I don't remember
kind of like that. I believe fizzing away inside the space station.
Yeah,
as the Daleks invade.
I got to be honest. This is a pretty cool. I really like this as a Dalek variant. It's really good. Yeah. So I'm quite impressed by that one.
It's a good figure set.
Yeah, it is really good. Yeah, and
we just need Rula Lenska now with a hairband.
Yeah, perhaps we'll ask Al if he can get rid of that. And there's the. Can I pop out my gun there?
There's the gun. Yeah, Steve's holding the gun.
So does Tegan pick it up at some point as well?
Well, we'll find out. I can't remember if she does actually. don't think she does, but it's, as I said last time, it's been a while since I watched this story.
So
But nonetheless, if she doesn't, you can recreate a scene with her pointing the gun right at you, buddy, just like that. Amazing.
She's got a gripping hand for it.
Which one is that? Is that the left or the right?
Her right one.
Oh, I'll put it on the left one.
How have you managed to get it on there with difficulty?
Yeah, look at that. I've got it the wrong way around now. It's amazing to play with these little figures for hours on end.
Yeah. Well, you're building up quite a collection behind you, aren't you? It's not really visible on camera.
No, it's not on this shot, but I will take a picture of it at some point and show the ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
it's quite something. I've only got limited space on my shelves because they're all allocated to books, as you can probably see, because that is my number one love. Actually, that's quite a good angle, isn't it?
That's cool. Yeah.
Don't mess with me, Dalek. I'll have you for toast and breakfast. Sorry, apologies to our Antipodean friends out there. That was awful. I won't do that again.
Probably, so I was hoping that at some point we might be able to get Janet on the podcast, but out of all of the cast and crew from the show, she has proven to be the most elusive, genuinely.
Well, look how long it took Big Finish to get her into back into the fold.
Was it a long time there as well?
Yeah, it was ages. Yeah, I think for a long time, I could be mistaken, but so do please feel free to correct me. But I think for a long time, Janet Fielding wanted nothing much to do with Doctor Who. Following this, I think she just wanted to put it all behind her, move on. I think she had to be persuaded to attend some conventions, but then bizarrely she was she became an agent for actors and and she was Paul McGann's agent and kind of. And I think Paul McGann was approached independently anyway to audition as the Doctor. Again, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure also that Janet, as his agent, told him not to do it because it would kind of take over his life if he got it as a Doctor, which kind of has done in a way. I mean, certainly in the Doctor Who world. I mean, Paul McGann as the Eighth Doctor that's who he is. He's done other stuff and he's been brilliant in it. But he's always the Eighth Doctor now. That's it. And thankfully, I think he loves it. And thankfully, also Janet did return, has returned to the fold. And of course, we saw her again in Power of the Doctor, which was just amazing.
That was brilliant. Yeah, so she's obviously sort of come back round to it a bit. But I haven't been able to find any social presence for any agent contact details. She did run a charity for a while called Motormouth. Motormouth, Mouth on Legs. That was the character's sort of nickname, wasn't it?
Mouth on Legs.
Yeah. But I didn't get any sort of joy in contact in there. But I tell you who is even more elusive is Sarah Sutton. Absolutely nothing for her. But she doesn't act. I mean, she does the odd bit of Big Finish, doesn't she? But it's really minimal. So
I'd love to have a chat with Sarah Sutton.
Yeah,
I kind of feel like Janet Fielding would literally rip into us, and we wouldn't stand a chance. But I think Sarah Sutton might be a little bit nicer.
Yeah,
but nonetheless, Janet Fielding ripping into us might well make for an entertaining podcast.
Yeah. If anyone's listening and can,
if you want to hear that, and if you know Janet, get her in touch.
And we'll have her come on. Yeah, I'm just looking at the figure as it stands here, and I love this kind of sort of. Let me get in a bit closer, slightly overexposed. Sorry, this sort of smirky smile, and I've just put her with a massive gun, and it's just, the look on the face is brilliant. Like, you're buggered.
You're screwed, mate.
Yeah. So I think it's really great that in this far down in the Doctor Who line, new figures are being made like this. Like, I know that the body is probably using different previously done parts and stuff, but obviously the head sculpt is new, and the fact that there was not been a TEGAN before, and now we've got one. It's it's brilliant. That
I like that with a TEGAN.
A TEGAN, yeah. And you said something there about Paul McGann and sort of being known as the Eighth Doctor now, and that's kind of his thing. And some actors, they work and they do all sorts of different parts, and as do these guys here, the McGann and stuff, but they have that role that kind of towers over them, don't they? And I wonder if if actors kind of long to have something like that, and just made me think of people who've got multiple big characters to them. I was thinking about Sigourney Weaver. She's got Ripley, Ghostbusters, Avatar. She's joining Star Wars. That's 4 massive things, isn't it? To her name, which is quite amazing, really.
I mean, for me, she'll always be Ripley, to be honest.
Yeah.
She's, I mean, synonymous with that role. I think that was the role that really launched her career into.
Well, that wasn't Alien her first film.
Yeah, was it actually?
I think so.
It could
Yeah.
well have been.
Yeah.
This is fun. Watch Peter Davison's. Maybe it's in the next scene with him actually. Peter Davison's face when there's a big zoom shot, I think, which would be at the end of the supposed episode 3 of this. Of course, there's only 2 episodes because 1 and 2 and 2 and 4 are 3 and 4 are sort of squashed up together. But there's a brilliant zoom shot right into Davison's mouth, and you see all his lovely dentistry fillings and everything. It's quite funny.
And we all know
I think on the commentary to this, he remarks on that and says, "God, why did they do that?" Something.
And we all know the Doctor wouldn't have fillings or dentures.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly right.
Freshly regenerated.
Freshly regenerated, yeah. Well, except he wasn't, because he's getting towards the end of his regeneration here, isn't he? So who knows what has happened?
Well,
in
maybe,
all those years,
It wouldn't make for a very exciting
no
novel, would it? Doctor and the dentist.
The 5th Doctor visits the dentist. I guess not so much.
That's also interesting. Look, the Daleks there have got this. I was looking at the figure and I thought, I wonder why it's got a sort of stickery bit there. Well, it's not a sticker, it's painted on, but why it wasn't a textured element. And I thought perhaps it was not very, perhaps it couldn't be done for some reason, but it's just like there, isn't it? That's what they're like on screen.
What you mean, the thing at the front of them?
Yeah.
Look at that. Dirty Den's going in behind.
Oh, he's taking out something.
Yeah, look at that. That's he's putting something in, actually. What this is, so while we were talking, Davros has hatched a plot to use some of the Mavellan virus, and he wants to test it on some willing subjects. And these Daleks are his willing subjects. That's quite nice. You see, one of the Daleks there couldn't get his lid on properly. But if I remember now, this turns into quite a disgusting sequence as the virus takes its effect. Or is that... maybe I'm misremembering, actually. Because this might well be Davros using that to actually just control them, thinking about it. There we go, there's Tegan. So Tegan's a lot more active in this episode, isn't she, than she was in episode 1. Which is quite fun.
She spent most of last episode laid up in bed.
Exactly, yeah, given that it was, that this is her final story. To spend like half of it laid up is just seems a bit wrong somehow, isn't it? And again, I don't know if this was... Well, actually, no, hold on, because this wouldn't have been her exit story when it was originally written, because it was written for the previous season, right? And Janet was contracted, I think, to stay on for at least another season, or at least it was in negotiation. Anyway, right, long story short. So the original version of this, called Warhead or Return of the Daleks, one or the other, I think it flipped between the 2 of them, would have just had Tegan carrying on with the Doctor as normal at the end of it.
Right.
Obviously, when it was shunted into season 21, then obviously Janet made her feelings known that she wanted to leave, so I think it was then hastily kind of written. But I don't think much of the rest of the story had been changed as much.
Right.
You know what I mean? So she was probably always going to spend the majority of those first 2 episodes laid in bed, whilst all these other characters kind of came in and went and did their stuff and developed the plot, so to speak. So those guys with the big Dalek helmets, the big knobs on their head.
Mm.
Daleks have had a thing with this, haven't they, through the years? If you think of the Robo-Men wandering London in Dalek Invasion of Earth, it's kind of similar, I think, in a way. And of course, I think actually I might have mentioned this on our last episode. But in the modern series, in the Stephen Moffat episodes, where the Dalek eye stalk just unfolds out of people's foreheads, which is just freakily weird and bizarre. Don't even think about how that can happen, because it's just freaky.
No.
It's just a nightmare image for the hell of it. And why not? Because that's kind of what
that's
stuff is about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, they've got the. Oh, there she is. I wonder whereabouts in In London, that is.
You know where it is.
No, but like
near
where
we...
exactly where? Like what street that
yeah,
is?
I don't think it exists as such anymore. I think a lot of
Really?
that was, I mean, well, a lot of it's been redeveloped, but during the redevelopment, there was a lot of restructuring and knocking down of older buildings as well. So a lot of those buildings at the time were just completely unusable. You know, they were
Yeah.
absolutely cream crackered for years. I remember doing a project about it for my GCE geography something. Yeah, I'm sure it was geography. Which is like, you know, we do towns and urban development and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was just before it all got redeveloped or started being redeveloped towards the end of the 80s. Because obviously now you go there and you got old Canary Wharf, the Isle of Dogs, and you know all of that stuff going
Yeah.
on out there. But there was none of that there then. It was just a run-down old Docklands area.
Yeah. When
It
we
looked
were
like the
there,
end
it
of the
was
world.
sort of quite decent, wasn't it? You know, not bad.
What's that? What did
Oh,
you say?
it was quite decent. You know, looked all right. I thought. You know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just playing with Tegan here,
I
trying
I
to
think that's for a different podcast, mate.
get her to hold the weapon.
She's got to hold her gun. Oh,
Hold
poor
her
Chloe
gun.
Ashcroft. I mean, this is no way to treat a kids' TV presenter, is it? She
No.
won't get far. Ah! Scream.
I listened to some of that new Ninth Doctor and Rose audio. Dare you this
Oh,
week?
did you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, very good. We'll talk about that one soon, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It was good so far. We must
Good.
ask anyone else if
I'm
they've
pleased. Let's.
listened.
Anyway, back to Resurrection of the Daleks, which I'm sure people are tuning in for us to talk over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tegan's getting chased by a couple of very sinister policemen, which is one of those great motifs. And there's a guy on the Thames. Look at him. He's searching for precious metals in the mud and the scum and the filth, but he can't hear Tegan's shouts because he's got his earmuffs on. Oh, Tegan, don't stand there. You're going to get shot, my love.
And then you're going to fall in the water.
No, the
He's
policeman.
down.
That's quite horrible, isn't it? The policeman goes to shoot Tegan, but actually shoots the guy in the
Yeah.
mud.
Should I tell you an
For
interesting
lols?
story?
It better be interesting.
A few years ago, I helped produce a short film that was called The Beachcombers, and
Oh,
it was filmed probably not dissimilar area to where that guy was just doing it there, and
interesting.
it involved two metal detectors on either side of the Thames, and they end up holding up signs to each other and sort of fancying each other, and then they meet up. And one of them was played by a chap called Rasmus Hardiker, and the young lady was an actress by the name of Charity Wakefield, who
Oh,
might be familiar to Whovians from her appearance in Return of Dr. Mysterio.
ooh,
Ooh.
interesting. There you go. Interesting
And
story. Thanks for that, mate.
yeah, fuck off.
What? Where'd that come from? Apologies for the use of language by my learned friend over there.
She was very well. They were both very nice, and she was sort of on quite a rising star at the time, and then sort of disappeared
Rula
for a while.
Lenska.
Is she
Sorry, mate.
down?
Rula Lenska just got blitzed by a massive gun. That's a moment right there. This is increasing the body count in the story massively.
Yeah, they just
All
wiped
the
out a few
Robo men
people
can't all
fairly
button. Yeah,
quickly
and
there, didn't they?
I mean, Rula Lenska's character, she was a key character as well. She's a key player in all of the plot up until this point, and now she is no more. She is consigned to wear the wings of fate and rise above this mortal coil.
Yes.
And there's only this dude
Very
left now.
nice.
That's all there is. So you look unceremoniously dragged out. What's all that about, eh?
Just having I have posted on
Oh,
Twitter, but no
you just change your
responses
volume.
yet. No. Can you hear
Suddenly
me?
got really loud in my earphones.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I've changed anything.
Don't worry. It's all good. It'll all settle down in the edit. We've got a top professional editor on this podcast now.
I was just looking on X quickly. Yeah, Doctor Who figures, a wonderful classic Doctor Who figure set with Tegan finally joining.
Into the time corridor with her. They're just going to throw Tegan into the time corridor or have done with her. Go on, yeah, carry on. I was listening.
Some very nice
Sorry,
pictures
excuse me for talking about the actual story. You know.
Well, we said we would also talk about the figure. Some very nice pictures from Doctor Who 5.5 figure mock-ups. He's done some really nice pictures there.
Yeah. Do you see this on there now? Look, we got clips from old episodes as the Daleks are diving into the Doctor's brain. That sort of thing was just gold dust back in the day. Anything which kind of referenced the old Doctors. And it also kind of plays on that scene in Day of the Daleks where they do something similar with John Pertwee's Doctor. Obviously, there weren't as many flashback faces to go through back then because it was still only number 3. But it's always good to see because, you know, they never, ever repeated the older stories. We had the 5 Faces of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
And I think there was another run of Genesis of the Daleks and Earthshock in like a Doctor Who and the Monsters or something, sort of mini season. But it was just so rare to see any old Doctor Who. And I think at this time, because I was becoming a bit more, well, actually quite a lot more of a fan by this time, I just wanted, and I read pretty much all the Target novels and had them up until, you know, this point. And I just wanted to see what those actual stories look like on TV rather than just in my head. And you know what I mean? So I just wanted to see as much old Doctor Who as possible. So those little flashbacks, those little snippets were just wonderful to see.
Yeah, I'm just looking, the figure top is slightly different, but it's sort of, you know, essentially the same. There's probably a reason.
It's very similar, actually.
It really is. You know, that bit coming off the left shoulder,
the shoulder.
Sort of
there you go.
an L is very similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Yeah, it's funny to think, isn't it? But you know, back then, you know, you wouldn't have had access to the show, you know, in the way we do now.
No.
You know,
I think there might have been. I'll have to check the dates on this, but I think there was a VHS of Revenge of the Cybermen, that infamous of the infamous cover, which had the wrong Doctor Who logo and everything. The wrong Cybermen. They had the Cybermen from Earthshock, I think, and obviously that's not what Cybermen looked like in Revenge. So, but that cost like 50 quid, I think. It was ridiculous, and 50 quid back in the 80s.
That's a huge. Well, yeah,
that was like 5 years of salary. That was 5 years of working down mines to get that much.
I remember.
It was ridiculous.
VHS used to cost a lot.
They were, weren't they? They were crazy money. So it wasn't until the price really came down on those, and you picked them up for about a tenner, 10, 12 quid, that I started buying VHS Doctor Who's, and I think that would have been right at the end of the 80s. It was like 88 or 89, and I think there was things like the Time Warrior, Robots of Death, the Daleks as well. The original Dalek William Hartnell series was one of those, and they had new covers, more artwork, and the episodes were actually, because in the early VHSs as well, they squashed all the episodes together into like a massive omnibus edition, but still edited chunks out of it. I think Brain and Morbius went on for like an hour and 20 minutes as a continuous piece, but it was all one thing. So you had to, imagine where the episode endings were, or research them and do whatever. But then they re-released them towards the end of the 80s, a lot cheaper, and with the kind of full episodes restored. As I say, restored. Some restored a bit loosely, a bit more loosely than others. So, but essentially, it was the closest we had to old Doctor Who episodes then, and that was when we could actually start watching them. And then, of course, the UK Gold came along in the 90s and started replaying all of them. But they didn't show the Dalek episodes, UK Gold, not for a little while anyway. Because I think they were still negotiating rights with Terry Nation's estate.
Right.
And they were quite resistant. They held out. So when UK Gold started running Doctor Who, it was like an unearthly child, and Try Begun, whatever it's called, and then it went straight to Edge of Destruction and all the others afterwards, apart from the missing ones, obviously. But anyway,
I was funny enough. So I ran my podcast workshop this week. Do you know what? Sorry if you've tuned in to hear us, or more so Paul, dishing out gems about this episode. We're just talking about other stuff now.
Best.
Well, look, like I said last time, there's not an enormous amount of new stuff. So, we're going to talk about other stuff from time to time.
Geoff
So
lays down the
hopefully
law, ladies and
you like
gentlemen,
it.
right there.
Oh, did you see the suggestion about we tweeted what else should we talk about? And someone, Michael Moslin, said we should rename the podcast Avatar Corner to Corner.
No, that's not going to
And
happen.
I think we should do that indeed.
Never going to happen. Not on my watch, mate.
But
I don't mind
yes,
talking about Avatar, but you know what I'm going to say about it. I'll just be honest.
yeah. Well, you know, you're clueless. Um, so I was doing my podcast workshop, and obviously the topic of who came up as obviously that's the podcast I do. And one of the ladies who was there, she said that she could remember watching An Unearthly Child when it went out in the
Oh,
60s. You know, she said, you know, it was cool. You know, back then, you know, it was a really big thing. You know, and people were really mad for, you know, the Daleks and stuff, weren't they? And you know, she said it was scary.
was
And
she around in the 60s?
yeah,
Was that what
yeah,
she was saying? Well, yeah,
yeah,
because I think the whole Dalek mania thing was massive, wasn't it? You know, the Daleks
yeah.
entered popular culture. They were always like as popular culture as, or popular as the Beatles.
Mm.
Beatles, Elvis, the Daleks. That's the
It's
kind of
really,
thing.
you know, you read back about all that stuff, and you
Mm.
know there was sort of no you know, there was no sort of merch for it immediately, and you know then there was, you know, a
Oh, and
rush
then
for
suddenly it
things,
just
and
exploded. Yeah,
yeah, a
it
bit
was
like
everywhere.
K-pop Demon Hunters,
No,
you
not
know,
like that.
but we
Different,
sort of
of
take
course.
it for granted how popular the Daleks are and things, but I think you know, they really were pretty, you know, massive, you know, then.
Mm.
Um, but
Yeah,
I
I'd have liked
told,
to have been around at that sort of time. I
yeah,
think,
yeah.
you know, visit the
Um,
60s. But of course, if I was now, I'd be even older than I am now. So,
even older, yeah.
hmm.
I told the lady that you couldn't watch that episode anymore because it's been pulled because of a
Which
tantrum,
one?
Unearthly Child.
Oh, An Earthly Child. No, not unless you still got it on DVD, which I
Yeah,
have, thankfully. So
yes, I do, yeah. But yeah, that's a
I'm just gonna
shame.
share this bit here. Now, this is there we go. This is Peter Davison's Doctor pointing his gun at at
Do you mean
Davros's head, or at least
this
when it
sort of
cuts back to that.
gun?
That's the one. Yeah,
Look,
there you go. Look at him.
this is Davros after he gets blasted.
Mm. Yeah. And I love this exchange actually because Davros in kind of is not really pleading for his life. He's just trying to convince the Doctor that he's actually a nice guy at heart. You know, no, I'm good. You know, I've learned my lesson. They're okay. I'm going to do some good stuff with the Daleks. You know, so and I think the end of this scene, the Doctor's like, really, okay then, and he puts his gun away, gives it up, and one thing and another. The universe is at war, Doctor. It's quite an interesting thing. One thing I always like about these stories is the continual face-off between the Doctor and Davros. It's a kind of, you know, it's like a typifying moment. There's always a moment between them in these stories. I think it started with obviously Genesis of the Daleks, when Tom Baker's Doctor had that moral discussion, that
Yeah,
ethical discussion. Would Davros, if he held the power of life and death in his hands, would he actually, you know, commit the universe to absolute death and destruction from one end to another? Of course he would, you know. And now he's got a gun pointed at his head, and he's like, "No, I'm going to make the Daleks into a positive force." You know, it's not just, you know, name me one of those planets that the Daleks are terrorized where they don't have their own evil side. You know, where they don't carry out atrocities between themselves and everything else. You know, the Daleks can be a unifying force. That's his argument, basically, which has been an argument that's been repeated through the series for quite some time. So
yeah.
it's kind of done here. There's also a Big Finish story, which I think is quite good fun, which is, I don't know if you ever saw these. I mean, they're from ages ago, like 20 odd years ago, and they did a triple set. There was one called The Master, one called Omega, and one was called Davros. And it was basically a character piece. Each one was a character piece on each of those people in Doctor Who. And I do remember I mean, all of them I thought were really, really good. I really loved the Omega one, but I mean, the Davros one was amazing. One of the best things about the Davros one was it described in the run up to this story here, right? So Davros was taken prisoner by the Mavellans at the end of Destiny of the Daleks, right? It's taken away, carted off, and what
Yeah.
have you. And according to that Big Finish audio play, Davros, he spent centuries. I can't remember the exact time. It's a long time since I heard it, but it was many, many years, multiple years, I'm sure it's centuries, at least 100 years anyway, where he was conscious, awake, but immobile, basically paralyzed in that tank that he was kind of rescued from, or sprung from in the last episode. And he was aware of everything, and it's all going around his head. And he sees people come in and go in and whatever. He can't do anything. All he's got is in his head for hundreds of years, day after day after day, right? And he can't move anything. And the way that is written, the way Terry Malloy plays the words that are written is just, I mean, it's amazing. I'd never even thought about that until I listened to that. And I thought, Davros, if he wasn't insane before that point, he's absolutely going to be beyond it now. But it kind of explains the difference between Michael Wisher's ranting, sort of crazy Davros, to Terry Malloy's perhaps more calculated, considered, much more malicious and insidious portrayal of Davros, because he's had all this time to think about what he's going to do and play over what he sees events and people that have wronged him in the years.
Yeah.
So if you haven't listened to it, go out and
no,
hunt
I
it
haven't
down.
heard
I'm
that
sure
one. No,
Big Finish are doing it probably on a deal because it's ancient.
Yeah, let me have a quick look. They've got some sales on at the moment, haven't they?
They're brilliant, all three of those. And Omega gets treated much better than he did at the end of the 15th Doctor's run. Just saying.
That's not hard, is it?
No. Jeffrey, behave yourself.
Is this is it just Davros? There's one with
it's just called
Colin.
Davros.
Oh,
or is it
Davros?
I Davros. There you go. Yeah.
There
you go. I Davros, I Omega, and I Master or something. There's like three of them. I thought the Master one was probably, for me anyway, I think it was the weakest of the three of them. Just my opinion. I remember not being as impressed by it as I was the other two. I was still very good. I still thought it was excellent, but wasn't quite the same sort of level. But it's just a personal thing. So now we've got Daleks on Earth now. So they've come through the time corridor there. And what happens? So these army dudes are now firing on Daleks. Do you know what, mate? I haven't got a bloody clue what is going on in this story. Even if I was watching it without you whittering on about Avatar and stuff in my ear, I still wouldn't have a clue. Because I've watched this multiple times. I've read Eric Saywood's novelization of it, which we had to wait for years for it to come out.
Really?
Years, mate, years. It was like Revelation of the Daleks and this one were two like missing. They'd never been novelized as part of the target range until, was it 5-6 years ago, I think? Something like that. And I kind of wish that Eric had written them when he was younger back in the day. And I actually wish they'd been edited, because you read these stories, it doesn't look like they've been edited at all.
Really?
Yeah, and it's kind of a disappointment in a way, because I mean, certainly Resurrection of the Daleks, the novelization of this, I just don't think is it reads more like a first or second draft than a fully polished novel. Really, it's not. I'm sure the people out there who read it would agree with me and probably think I'm being kind, actually. But it's a bit of a disappointment, which is really sad, because I love this story. Can't make head or tail of it, but I do love this story nonetheless.
You can see, the Daleks there are quite battered, aren't they, as props?
Yeah, I think this was the last story these Daleks were kind of used, I think.
Really?
So, the next story, the story following this was, the next Dalek story was Revelation, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where they went with a cream and gold kind of livery. I mean, they did have some older Daleks come in at the end of that, so maybe it was these, but I think they do look like they've seen better days, don't they?
Yeah.
See, now the Daleks are just exterminating the mercenaries, they're exterminating scientists. They're literally just going around, and this one's got some deadly capsule in his hand that is going to go off in a minute.
I wonder if on the new collection set they'll have added, gun blasts and stuff in these scenes.
Yeah, I think we talked about that in to episode 1.
There was a previous scene in a corridor there, and they're just sort of spinning and flipping around a little bit. And I mean, it's literally boys with their toys, but
He's like
a bit pasty there, isn't he?
Stein in that scene. Did you see that there? Actually, right? He shoots the guards on the door. Then he hugs his side because he's been shot or something. And then he staggers into that room where the self-destruct is. And then he's like, hands on hips.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I don't know. It goes from sublime to the ridiculous sometimes. This show, but I love it anyway. So that's just an affectionate kind of dig, But it's. I mean, we've seen that on the big screen. We saw it. What was her name? Was that Prometheus? That movie. Oh my god, that was a horror story. That's for sure. And who's the lead in Prometheus? She's normally very good. It's just, huh?
Noomi Rapace.
Yes, that's her. Well done. Yeah, I mean, I love her to bits. I think she's fantastic in other stuff she's done, but in that film, she gives birth to an alien. Oh, she has a cesarean.
Yeah, I remember thinking out of her. That bit was
stitched
awful.
Up. It's awful.
Like
and
really
she gets
tense
stitched up in the medical machine, right? And she gets out, and then she's like, "Oh, my stomach, it's really sore." She's running around fighting stuff, and it's like, "Well, you just been in a bloody, just had a cesarean section, woman."
Yeah, but
she's like, "No, I'll take the drugs." Yeah, it's the future.
Really hurt.
Oh, of course, yeah, because the body is still impervious to pain in the future, and painkillers are much better, and the surgery, which is bleeding out of her, that's fine. It's all done within like 2 minutes.
It's like when Iron Man gets a massive sword wound, courtesy of Thanos, and then he uses a bit of super glue to heal it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, that's a whole podcast in itself, actually, Prometheus. It's the most disappointed I think I'd ever been when I went to watch a movie.
I'm not doing Prometheus corner to corner.
No, we're not doing that. There's no need, mate, because I hate it. You're not a fan. And it's
I didn't dislike it. In fairness, I didn't dislike it, but what was the one after it? That was terrible.
Covenant.
Not badly made or anything like that, but just like
production values are fantastic.
They're but just pointless. And finding out that the alien is a genetically engineered thing from a robot, like just why? I really dislike the way Ridley Scott sort of has taken ownership of the Alien series, and
it's quite interesting because I listened to the commentary on.
I was going to say I think he's really arrogant about it, and he's not as good as he thinks he is. And also he blocked the
Sigourney Weaver about
Aliens,
the backstory for the alien and what was going on in his mind.
Was going to have
it's quite interesting because it actually
and Michael Biehn coming back.
For Prometheus
do you know about that? They were going to pretend Alien 3 and Resurrection never happened, and do a proper sequel, but then he blocked it because he wanted to make Prometheus or something, which was a mistake, I think. Paul appears to have frozen, dear listeners, and I'm talking to myself. So I'm going to wait to see. Oh, look, that Dalek is leaking whipped cream, which is quite exciting. I wonder if Al's listened to this. Maybe you could do a Dalek playset where they leak whipped cream or something. Good Lord, what happens when I'm left to my own my own devices on the podcast? I can't stop talking because we've got this episode commentary that we're doing. So let's hope that Paul returns shortly. But whilst he's off air, perhaps I can talk Avatar. I did recently guest on James Cameron 101, which is a podcast that talks about all sorts of James Cameron stuff, and has had guests associated with the films, various films. And I went on with host Eddie to talk about Avatar Fire and Ash. So if you go to your podcast provider, search for James Cameron 101, I'll put a link to the podcast in this episode of our podcast, if I remember. It was great fun talking about it, and I really enjoyed it. And I know that Paul takes the mick out of me, and you're probably bored of hearing me talk about it, but I'm afraid I do love it massively, and I am continually blown away by how good it all is. So Paul is nowhere to be seen. So I'm just going to text him and say, where are you? Davros is having a bit of a rant. He's steaming. And the Daleks have got whipped cream all over them. Oh dear, what an image. I'm going to text Al Dewar and say, can we get Daleks that you can, like, do you remember when you were a kid, you'd get, like, slime, toy slime? You could maybe get a Dalek where you could sort of put the slime in it and push a plunger down at the back and it would all squirt out or something. That would be quite cool. So here's a Dalek giving a threatening message to the Doctor in his white Infinity Cove studio. The strategic position. Oh, they're going to collapse Earth society. The duplicates aren't stable. It won't work. So yeah, if you've seen Avatar: Fire and Ash, I would love to know what you thought of it. So do tweet me or blue sky me, or comment on YouTube if you're watching. We'll kick off a conversation on that. The other thing I was going to say as well is do follow us on social, and give this podcast episode a share and a like. All of that kind of stuff helps us to spread the word. We're sort of really keen this year to try and grow our listening figures and reach more people and get more engagement and interaction from people. So if you're listening and you like what we do and you would like to help do that, that would be brilliant. So please go ahead and please do. Paul has been bumped off, a bumped off line. God, that would have been a depressing end to the episode, wouldn't it? So I'm not sure that he's coming back. So I'm going to carry on talking. There was just a street name for this area in London, but it was blurring a bit, as the old film recordings sometimes did. But I wondered if I could see where it was, and if it was somewhere that we'd been on our adventures into that area in London. As we were saying earlier, Al Dewar was going to join us tonight, and we were going to have a in-depth chat about the TEGAN figure, but he was unable to join us in the end. So I'm sure that at some point soon we will have our guest again. TEGAN's, she's tired. A lot of good people have died. She's sick of it. She doesn't think she can go on. I tell you, Al, if you're listening, we could have had a alternate head for TEGAN with a plaster on her forehead. Perhaps one for the future. It's quite a moving scene, isn't it, to see her say goodbye like that? But she's going to stay there. That's quite a downbeat ending for a companion, isn't it? Not sort of, returned home, all okay, safe, but running off like that, that's quite brief. I don't really remember that. I'm quite shocked at how quickly that was dealt with there. Oh, did she come back to say she's changed her mind? Oh dear. Oh. Well, I enjoyed watching that back, and I enjoyed doing it having some company. Talking of company, I've ended up on my own, so you've probably switched off by this point. But if you were listening or watching, thank you. We appreciate your time. And we'll be back very soon. We've got some 9th Doctor and Rose audios coming up. We've got some new 13th Doctor audios coming up. There'll be future action figure stuff as well. And hopefully various other things as well. So keep keep following, keep listening, give us likes and shares and all of that, and help spread the word. And we will see you next time on Who Corner to Corner podcast. Thank you very much. TT and FN. That's Tartar and for now. Oh, hang on. He's back. I've just finished it all.
I'm back. Have you? Oh, yeah. Well done. I was kicking off because sometimes this stuff records audio anyway, regardless, and it was still recording, I think.
Oh, so, right, okay.
What did you say anyway? Did you mess it up or what? What did he say, listeners? Next week, it's all about Avatar. So join us.
Avatar Corner to Corner has begun. So I was just saying thanks for listening, and we've got some various things coming up soon, and we'll be back. And
we will. Although I just have to ask you, what did you make of Tegan's exit then?
Yeah, I didn't really remember it, and it was quite moving, and to see a companion go sort of quite hurriedly and in quite a downbeat way, not get returned home safe or, any of that. But then the doctor's just like, oh, I better change my ways. And he goes to get back in the TARDIS and she comes back. And I wondered whether that was sort of to say, I've made a mistake, but didn't seem to be. Perhaps near. So quite sad really.
It's kind of abrupt, isn't it? Well, Tegan's quite an impulsive sort of person, isn't she? She makes a decision, boom, she goes for it.
Yes,
usually without kind of thinking. And I think this one, I mean, I was when we were cut off, I was gassing on about the body count again and the fact that it's so high. And it is that final scene when Lytton sort of disappears. He walks off with his policeman, and we go back to the warehouse, and the Doctor and Turlough are literally surrounded by corpses.
Yeah, they're Dalek corpses, over bodies,
the mercenaries, the duplicates, the army, everybody. Nobody is alive. And of course, the Dalek spaceship is kind of blown up as well because it had a perennial 80s self-destruct mechanism in its heart, like the August spaceships do. But then, Tegan, you think how horrifying that must be in a way, to be surrounded. It's something we don't find ourselves in that sort of situation. We don't know how we're going to react. And this is where the reality of the Doctor's kind of exploits, if you like, really come to a head. And we go on about Resurrection of the Daleks having this high body count and being a bit over the top, perhaps, in terms of its violence and everything else. But that kind of gives the motivation or the reason behind Tegan's kind of exit.
Yeah.
She's got to go. She can't deal with this. And when it stops being fun, there's nothing about this. It's fun. People are literally dead around her, all within the last sort of 24 hours. And nothing the Doctor could have done would have stopped it. It might have been worse if the Doctor hadn't been involved, but he was involved. The whole crew were involved, and everybody else died. So she's got to go. She's just got to get out. And maybe it's just to clear her head, but she can't do this anymore. And there's that moment with the Doctor. You see his expression with his face, and it's almost like for the first time he looks at things from that way as well. He just looks around and says, "It's almost like, yeah, you're right. This is awful. Something's got to change. How long can this thing keep going on? Going on like this?" And they just kind of morosely walk back into the TARDIS, and you're right, Tegan comes back because she's thought about it, because perhaps all she did was just shake their hands, say goodbye, and run off, and now she's like, no, I need to do a proper goodbye.
Yeah.
But they've already moved on. They've gone. It's kind of heartbreaking, isn't it?
It's quite abrupt and quite sort of blunt, but also sort of quite sad, and so it's
But this whole thing about companions returning to their lives, I mean, that only really happened in the modern series. It wasn't something that happened a lot in the classic series. I think Jo Grant manages to carry on with her life. Sarah Jane gets abandoned somewhere, miles away from home.
By accident, admittedly, but
yeah.
Still.
But neither were great. I think Jo Grant is probably the rare case. I mean, Leela as well got married off suddenly at the end of her story. So, like, where did that come from? But it's only the new series that kind of makes a thing about the companions having lives, which is good.
Yeah.
To a point. I'm not sure about this whole Russell T Davies thing about making them pass a test in a way. It's like the Doctor chooses their companions, but they've got to be good enough. They've got to be at a certain level.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then they're also the most important person in the universe. So, I'll do another pool. I came back for a post-credits appearance there. I had done a TT and an FN.
Oh, did you? Sorry,
yeah.
mate.
Yeah. So we've got a double end. So yeah, thank you for listening, everyone, tonight. I hope you enjoyed my solo spot.
I don't know if the audio from my bit is actually recorded on this.
To be honest, as a genuine thing, I will cut it, because otherwise it's just going to be two separate threads of convo going on. But we will be back next week for more adventures in the Hooniverse, and we will see you then.
Fabulous.
Take it easy. Bye.
Bye-bye.